All right, guys. Welcome to the Ravit Show. We have a very special guest today, and I can't hold my excitement. Obviously, considering it's Mike Wimmer, a 12-year-old kid who's making strides in the tech world. So, first of all, we'll be welcoming Mike. And before inviting Mike, obviously, I would want to give a small gist about who Mike Wimmer is. Mike Wimmer is the CEO founder at Reflex Social. Mike Wimmer is a 12-year-old kid who's a forward thinking child genius. I can say that definitely. I know at this age, at his age, that is something what is, you would be thinking that, okay, is it real? Mike's entrepreneurial goal is to build technology that enables people to live better lives. So that is very divine thing that he already has in his mind. Today we'll discuss about Mike's journey, his robots that he's creating, the programming, the future of AI, ML, and future plans. What Mike has. Before getting Mike, obviously I would want to let my audience know that we'll be giving away 5 adult subscriptions of 365 data science. And also before calling him again, obviously I would like to thank our partners, 365 data science and how to get analytics jobs by Albert and John. They are doing fantastic job. If you want to know more about it, do not forget to go and visit their page. Okay, let's just get Mike. Hey,
Hey,
Mike. Fantastic. Welcome to the Ravit Show, and such a pleasure having you here.
yeah, thank you for inviting me.
Oh, fantastic. And Mike, to just start with, obviously, you're a 12-year-old kid. I know age doesn't matter, but still, like, age is just a number.
Right.
But at the same time, first thing, obviously, I would like you to introduce yourself and let the audience know what are the today's topic that we can discuss, what are the things they can ask you, and you'll be out there for them. So, yeah.
So, yeah, as Ravit said, I'm Mike Wimmer. I'm a 12-year-old high school senior, and I'm an avid computer programmer and roboticist. And really, my main goal, as Ravit also mentioned, is to build
Yeah.
technology that enables people to live better lives. So, no matter
Mm.
what field that's through in technology, that's really what I want to do. And besides all the tech stuff, I love swimming, Legos, IMSA racing, and
Wow.
everything about exotic cars. So I'm still a kid too, so I got Hot Wheels tracks around the corner and Legos and all that kind of kid stuff. And I'm also a very out of the box thinker because I've never really allowed myself to be in a box in the first place.
Mm. Exactly. I think this is so cool of you to get into so many things already at the age of 12. I don't know. I was telling a few people who reached out to me, and I was just telling them at the age of 12, I don't know where I was and what I was doing. Did I even have a plan where I could be, actually doing something which is in robotics, or maybe, obviously, I might be playing with Legos. That is for sure, which every child might be doing at that age. So yeah, it is something which is very fascinating, and you're doing a fantastic job. I know now. Throughout the show, I won't say about age. I'll just stop myself from doing that, because age really doesn't matter. We know now that
Right.
it's just a number, and you prove it every time. So yeah, we have a few folks joining in. Mike, we have Mewa who says, "Okay, superb." Albert is there. Shruti is here. Oh wow, Kate is here. Hey Kate.
Okay.
Kate's amazing. So everyone is here, and Kate says that there's some Legos rule. So
That's right.
yeah, Christian says very interesting. At 12, I couldn't type. That's so true. Maybe I also was the same person who couldn't even type. But you're out there creating robots. So yeah, tell us more about it. Tell us, when was the first time that it intrigued you to get into a tech space? That okay, this is something where I would want to get into, or this is my interest area. When did you first identify that?
So I think it was really at 18 months old with my first iPad. So I was really hooked on it. I was like, I love the technology. I always had an affinity toward it, and I think I would hack the parental controls. Wink, wink. That was definitely learned everything about the operating system, and I really loved it because I could learn whatever I wanted to on there with different apps. Learn how to write with the stylus pen, geography, and everything. So I was really hooked on it. And
Yeah.
really, it was also that I really wanted to learn more in this. So it just so happened that my love of Legos and my love of programming or technology at the time really merged together with the Mindstorm. So I got the Mindstorms. I learned everything about it. It was really my first programming experience, and
Mm.
I loved it. I really had a bunch of
Wow.
fun with it for sure. And but then I said, okay, I've kind of maxed the Mindstorm out. So what I did was I went further with the Mindstorm, and I said I want to build a Rubik's cube solver. So what's behind me here
Wow.
is I built this a long time ago. I have a video of it I can show you. It's just a Rubik's cube solver
Wow.
with killer sensors and everything on it. So this was really my big Mindstorms capstone, if you will. Okay, I actually have a video of it I can pull up.
Okay, yeah, sure. We would love to see the video, definitely.
All right, so let me pause this. So do. All
Yeah.
right, there we go. Now I'm going to share the screen. All right, you can see this now, right?
Yeah. Let me just add it here.
No
Let
problem.
me just. Yep. We can see it.
So just to give you a little bit of background on this, first of all, I always did the best work in my pajamas, always, right? And
Yeah.
this is really the first time that I got the programming to work. So let me.
Kate says this is incredibly impressive. She can't even solve a Rubik cube. Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah, I taught
This is
myself how to
able.
do it first.
Wow.
So that was really one of the first moments where I said, okay, I taught myself how to to do the Rubik's cube. Then I built this robot that could do it, and that was I wrote all the code in C++ for it, and that was
Wow.
definitely a big experience for me. As it finally worked, right? And of course, we can always learn from our failures. So there was probably a
Hmm.
dozen times where it didn't work or more.
Yeah, exactly.
The one time that it does, that just lights you up, and I feel that I definitely learned a lot from that experience for sure.
Hmm. I think definitely. First question first. Obviously, how long did it take for you to just get it done from scratch? Obviously, it's something for I know for companies it would have taken years because they put a research behind it and all of those things, and then just getting into something like that. What about you?
So for me, I probably built that in about 10 days ish.
10 days? What?
So
Oh
I
my
built it,
goodness.
built the frame and everything for it, put all the color sensors and gears in it. So then, uh, then I just started the programming and got all that working. And then also before that, I had to learn how to do a Rubik's cube as well, which also was probably included in that 10 days. But you know what? Once I start something, I'm very focused on it, and I keep at it. It's something where, when I go to bed at night, I'm always thinking about
Hmm.
something, right? So I'm like,
Yeah.
that's what I can do. That's the how I can fix that bug. So that was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I think that definitely is very impressive. In just in 10 days, you've just done something which is extraordinary,
Thank you.
and we have something from Albert. We do all our best work in pajamas. We
That's right.
just yes, it's science. Yes, definitely. And
Sure.
talking about that, Mike, how about I know that you also program robots or you create robots. Can you just tell us more about it? I know I can see a robot there,
Yeah.
uh, just behind you. Is that something that you've built or something?
So this
You
is
programmed or
actually
something?
a SoftBanks robot named Now Robot. So I named him Infinite
Okay.
because I can do an infinite amount of things for him with him. And
Hmm.
that was really I started to do about programming different hardware. That was really the first thing with that. So I wrote
Yeah.
apps for it. I sold those at the exchange. I did a bunch of. I controlled all the movements and interactions. So it's almost like a baby. You got every single little keyframe and everything. So it was definitely a cool experience for that. And then also first time really jumping into hardware development. I made a microphone for Infinite, which is right here, by the way. And so
Yeah.
that way we could hook him into a PA system, which couldn't be done before. And sometimes he was too quiet in a large room, like in a classroom or something to that effect. So by making the microphone hook into the PA system, you can hear him a whole lot better. So that's I won the International Hardware Development Award at the Now Congress for that, and then also
Wow.
most downloaded app on the Now App Exchange for my actually Magic 8 Ball app for Infinite, and then also technical instructor at the Now, and so it's a bunch of. I was really into the Now thing, and one of the first big projects that I did with it
Mhm.
was where Infinite impersonates a past president, and kids have to hold up a card to say which president it was because it's
Wow.
like who was on the $500 bill? Then you have to hold up McKinley. So
Mm.
it was really to show that you could take something that kids don't usually like to learn, and then
Exactly.
amp it up with technology, and it was really a great outlet to showcase the program because it's a robot, right? But
Exactly. Exactly. So I think that's very inspiring, right? And you've just gone out of your way and you've just taken a project which is definitely not everyone will pick it up so easily, but you've just nailed it, and you've actually made it so fantastic, and it's just sitting right behind you. So I can just imagine.
yeah.
There was a question from Edinka. What programming languages did you use to build it? I don't know if it's about Rubik Cube, but I'm wondering it's about the robot. Yeah.
So for the robot, Infinite is mainly based in Python, and that was kind of
Mm.
actually a cross. Good thing for me was where I had already learned a lot of Python beforehand. That was my first programming language. It's still actually my favorite to this date because of its expansive and ability with data science and between data
Yeah.
science and IoT and everything, right? So, so yeah, that was really it, with that. It's
Yeah.
Python, and then had these little QR codes on the cars that you could scan. So
Yeah.
actually, talking about Infinite and things, I can show you another video of something I've been
Sure.
really more recently working on. So let me pull that up.
Fantastic. There's something new coming up. We are excited already, Mike.
All right. So 1 second, I
Yeah, sure.
will pull this up, and I'm going to turn my volume up so everybody can hear as well.
Yep. Sure.
All right. So can everyone see the video?
Okay.
All right,
Very.
so this was and my first the Internet of Things. This is where I got into it, and I can kind of give you the background story on this. Where my
Yeah.
mom actually had spinal surgery in spring of last year or 2 years ago,
Okay. Okay.
and so she couldn't get up out of the bed or off the couch very easily. So what I did was I took a Ring doorbell and a my face recognition system that I had built using AI and linked it to this door lock using my what would become my operating system for IoT devices. So that I put in the 5 most common family members that would come and check on her, and it would come and recognize their face, and it would unlock the door for them. So mom wouldn't have to get up and unlock the door, etc. And
Mm.
that was really a fun experience for that. And then I also expanded it to where, say, an unknown person was at the door. It would send a text to dad and I and say, would you like to unlock the door with a person? And with this picture of the person, right? And
Mm.
and so basically it would lock the door unless we sent text unlock, which it would unlock. And that was really when I realized that there really was not a lot of standardization in the world of IoT. So I said, we got to fix this. And that's something
Mm.
where that I've made Horizon OS to do is I can connect multiple, any kind of device together all in one no matter how they communicate. So in this
Yeah.
example, I communicated my now robot to the Schlage smart door lock as an example of Horizon OS. So let me play this for you.
Yeah, sure.
Infinite. Yes. Lock the door. Okay, I will lock the door for you. Thank you. You are most certainly
This
welcome.
is unreal. Very impressive.
Unlock the He door. Unlocks the door too. Okay, I will
Okay.
unlock the door for you. So that was kind of a, and of course, with this, there was a whole lot of more than you think of working with the robot, only because
Yeah.
Infinite actually runs on Python 2.7 and not any newer version of Python 3. So
Mm.
what I had to do was, and this has kind of been one of the big things I've done with the now, is communicating between Python 2.7 and this door lock, which would run on Python 3, and these
Mm.
different versions of things that are all different. And my Horizon OS helps to, it's just IoT connections. There's no, I don't care what version it
I
is,
right.
I can translate between it all. So that was something that was a big example for that one because it ran on 2.7. So
Mm.
yeah, and then that's actually grown into a newer version of that, which would be Reflex Social. That's my wrapper over top of it to bring new
Yeah.
and fun aspects into the world of IoT via social and
Wow.
different new things like that. So that hopefully will be launching in the next few weeks, which would be awesome.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I should
Looking
a
forward to
video of
that.
that if you would like to see as well.
Yeah. Sure.
It's a similar
Right.
video with the Misty robot, which is also behind me.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. Let
Yeah.
me share my screen, and
Sure.
I'll also kind of explain this as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
So it's a dark room right now, of course, right? And if you
Yeah.
can't see, there's the eyes of Misty right there, and she's just sitting there. And what happens is I say, "Hey, Misty, turn on my lights." And Reflect Social, Misty says, "Okay, Reflect Social, do this." And it goes to Reflect Social, and it says, "Okay, I know we need the Nanoleaf lights to come on and the Philips Hue lights to come on," and then they both come on at the exact same time. So normally these devices would be in two separate apps, two separate, totally different worlds, basically. And so let me kind of show you. Hey, Misty, turn on my lights. Doing that now. So yeah, that's
Wow.
a good example of that. Just a little quick demo where a lot going on there. They need to think to turn on some lights for sure, because it's
Mm.
we have to figure out okay where we need to Philips Hues. Then we got to figure out where the nanoleafs and stuff. So basically, Horizon OS, in a sense, is a huge translator where it translates
Yeah.
between all kinds of different communications, etc. So no matter
Mm.
how it talks, it can. We don't need no more 15 different apps, 15 different companies. That's kind of getting old now. So that's what Horizon OS can help us do, and Reflect Social will.
Wow, this is amazing. Mike, you don't forget to impress us in any way as possible, because this is at this age you've just created something which is outstanding. And there was a question around it uh, by George Fakin. Mike, with everything that you've accomplished so far, what are you most proud of? Very
Ooh,
interesting question.
that's an interesting question. Um, I think it's Horizon OS in general for because it directly helps my mom and really, um, and it's something again. I want to build technology that helps people live better and safer lives. So because of that, it's definitely I directly help someone. In this case, it happened to be my mom, but that's
Mm.
something I really like to do. And then also I got a lot of things, man. I do a bunch of military work for USSOCOM, so
Wow.
military challenge coins from them. That's definitely a very humbling experience. And
Yeah.
I like to give back into it's the military. It use my talents and knowledge for the greater good, and I'm very proud
Mm.
of that. And really, everything I've done, and also support for the elderly, etc. So, I've got a lot of projects and a lot of experiences that I'm very proud of, but still very
Yeah.
humble.
Wow, amazing. I think definitely that is something you can be proud of, and I think you should be proud of everything that you've done for yourself. Now, it's very difficult to even do something for real at this age, and you're making things nothing better than helping your mom, definitely. So yes, that is something very cool. Also, Suzanne is asking, how can we clone Mike Wimmer? Is that possible, Mike? By
Um,
any ways?
not yet, but maybe an avatar, chatbot avatar, possibly in the future.
Chatbot avatar, yeah, definitely that is something which can be something very useful. But I'm sure that level of intelligence is difficult to even clone in a machine,
Sure.
because obviously humans are smarter than machine till date. So yeah, that's there. Okay, we had an interesting question about your company. So can you just tell us more about your company, what it is, what you do, and you're the CEO of a company, so we would want to know more about it,
So,
basically.
yeah, I'm the founder and CEO of Reflex Social, which, as I've just shown before,
Yeah.
and we are going to combine this fun and interesting factors into IoT. So, making it fun
Mm.
and bringing the younger audiences into IoT. And so we
Yeah.
just completed our seed round, which is awesome. So now we are finalizing development and we'll be beta testing in a few weeks. And you can learn about all my updates and everything on that. That's going to be on LinkedIn. So
Mm.
yeah, I'm doing it. I'm doing all of the back end work and everything. I've made it all for sure. And
Yeah.
but yeah, it's combining, figuring out, okay, how does this device over here communicate, and how does this one over here communicate, and how does this communicate, and
Exactly.
and also making it easier because a lot of IoT things, even connecting things, are a lot harder. So we
Mm.
unfortunately are going to have a tray and a workspace where you just drag things from the tray into the workspace in a very simple, easy to use way. So you can build instructions for things very easily, and we really want more people to get into the field because it's very complicated right now. Again, 15 apps, 15 different devices. So that's why I'm trying to simplify it.
Okay, that's very cool. Also, is your website already ready? I can see it ready. Can I share it with the
Yeah, yeah,
folks around?
yeah, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Looks cool. Here it is.
Yeah, so this is
Amazing.
the Reflex Social website here. Of course, we don't have a whole lot yet to show, but we're surely getting there, and we'll be showing some things in a few weeks. Um,
Wow.
but yeah, basically, Reflex Social is actually under my parent company known as Next Era Innovations. So,
Okay.
yeah, you can show that if you would like to, Ravit, as well. So that's where I was selling these robotic application for the Now robot, and we was like, okay,
Mm.
we need an LLC to funnel this stuff through, and so that's where we funneled everything through that, and then also all of my military contracts basically come through Next Era Innovations as well.
Okay. Fantastic.
So Reflect is going to soon spin off from Next Era Innovations and become
Okay.
an LLC and everything.
Wow. This is very cool, Mike. Already, I know. You tend to make things very real, and this is super real, and this is
Thank
amazing. So, obviously, there was a question that I wanted to pick from Mayowa again. What helps you during the foundation of your projects? What is that one thing?
you. You know, I think it's just I figure out something that I would like to do. You know, I see all these things that I like to do, and I'm really good at for foundations and things and learning in a sense. I
Mm.
take bits from different places. So I got this part from the documentation, this part from this video, and this part from this book, and this part from trial and error. And I can combine them all together into something completely different than none of the people who
Wow.
wrote those things thought about. So that was kind
Mm.
of a something that helps me learn because I can combine
Mm.
all these together, kind of like Horizon OS, right? Combine all the stuff together. And one of the things I like to do is
Combining.
find a problem or a challenge and try to fix it or make it simpler. So IoT, try to make it simpler. And, you know, I've built all kinds of stuff. Rubik's Cube solved. Some people can't solve Rubik's Cube, so I try to make that simpler, right? Make a robot do it. No, there's many different things. And actually, one thing that I've built, I guess I can show you here, is
Yeah, sure.
built an autonomous car here for a
Wow.
RC car. And I have a video I can show you in a minute as well, where
Yeah.
I edited it all out. I put all kind of chips in it, and then I put
Mm.
ultrasonic sensors around the front, the sides, and then one at the back. Of course, put all kind of
Wow.
details and stuff on it, made it my own. And I programmed it to stay between walls if it was a lane, and then also, you know, obstacle avoidance for the front and in the back, etc. And this was
Wow.
my first really delve into big making hardware and programming it. So that was, but yeah, I mean, kind of going back to the foundation of your projects, I wanted to, you know, I always big car buff, so had to get the Corvette RC car and gut it out and everything, and it was something I wanted to do and wanted to learn. So that was really the
Yeah.
foundation of that project. And in general, I really feel like that if something doesn't break the law of math or science, that it can be done. So it
Mm.
hasn't been done yet. And there's some hard problems that some people don't want to tackle, and I like to tackle those hard problems.
Wow. That's, I think that's a ideal approach one can have, and you already have that approach where you want to go in the depth, and you want to do things, which is very interesting. And there was an interesting question. First of all, obviously there are a few comments, Mike, for you. Mike, whatever you do when you get older, always have this much fun.
That's
Suzanne
right.
says. And George Filkin obviously says we need more Mike Wimmers in the world. Yes, definitely, we need more people like Mike who
Thank you.
can, actually do greater for good and for the world. So that's obviously there. Mahendra says here, man, best of luck for your company and keep helping the community. So yes, definitely, and also about the integration bit when you spoke about it. Some LinkedIn user, I'm not aware about who it is. Okay, I'll take this question from Jonathan Papworth. Mike Wimmer, how do you manage your time and how are you able to learn so much so young? What inspires you?
You know, I guess you could say how the first question is, how do I manage my time? And really,
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing. I don't think I've actually kind of put it into a theory, if you will, but I can kind of combine things from, okay, you know, I got school hours here, that school block, then I got the Reflex Social block, then I got the play block, right? So
Yeah, exactly.
I divide into these blocks, and I, of course, tweak things depending on what things are happening, etc. So
Wow.
really compartmentalize everything. So school, okay, that school's done. Now I'm not thinking about school. Okay, now Reflect's done. Now I'm not thinking about that. So it's a very bouncing approach. But you know, I think people think of, well, you know, if you're doing school and then you're doing Reflect, of course, you know, why are you working so much? And really, what I think is, if you really love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I've never worked
Mm.
a day in my life. I love doing all this stuff. You know, you're messing with RC cars and autonomous vehicles and Rubik's cube solvers, Internet of Things. I love working with all that stuff. So it's very fun. And so how am I able to learn so much so young? And I think it's just I take in information like a sponge, literally, and
Yeah.
and I digest it very fast, so I can learn things super quickly. And I really don't know anything different than to soak in all information that's possible. It's just kind of a passive thing that I just do. Um,
Exactly.
so what inspires me? There's a lot of things that inspire me for sure, and I think my parents for sure inspire me, and it's
Definitely, yeah.
still those morals in me as well. And
Mm,
there's just in general, Elon Musk as well. He inspires me for his out of the box thinking. That's still a bad idea. Like I said, you never been in the box, right? And that's kind of my approach to thinking as well. So that's
true.
definitely for sure. And he takes on the hard problems. How can we use these
Exactly.
reusable rockets? How can we make battery life in electric cars better? Tackling those hard problems that can actually help the
Mm.
world. That's something that I want to do as well.
I can only imagine, yeah. And yes, definitely, you have some inspirational folks. Obviously, Elon Musk is someone I look up to. There's many controversies around it, but that's okay. He's still having that out of the box thinking, and he's killing it with that. He's obviously, I do not want to get to a point where obviously I tell that okay, he's the richest person, but no, he's actually making us dream about certain things
Right.
that we might have not even thought of. So
Yeah.
those things are very fascinating, and I think you have the right path, you have the right things. And when you said more about the time management, I was very impressed, because just sitting here, I obviously have a daytime job at pack, but also I do the Ravit Show. It kind of gets so much. I start feeling that okay, there's so much that I need to do, and I'll always be in that place where that okay, back of the mind, I'll have something running that okay, I need to do this. I still have pending work from pack that I need to do, or maybe when I'm sitting and doing pack's work, I have some things to do at the Ravit Show. I don't know how you manage, but you're fantastic.
Thank
And
you.
that is what uh, Suzanne had to say. This guy, a parent company too. He's gonna take over the world, and definitely one day you're just gonna take over. That's happening for sure. Albert says we can use you in Marines, Mike. We suck at computer stuff.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
that
guess I'm indirectly helping you in that USS SOCOM, the whole branch.
wow, you're already there. Just tell us somewhere where you are not there, Mike. We might suggest you there, but I know you one day. Definitely, you'll be conquering the world.
Thanks.
You are fantastic. We had a question. Okay, I would recommend to the and okay, not this one, but from LinkedIn. I okay, here it is. Mike Wimmer, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Ooh,
Futures.
okay. So, good question. And I think we kind of go back to the Elon Musk situation, right?
Yeah.
I kind of view Reflect as my PayPal,
Mm,
and then later on, hopefully, that will be kind of sold to another large company, potentially exited, and I can move on to other impactful projects, like in this case, my Tesla or SpaceX. And that's
mm.
kind of I've always wanted to make those dream companies, but you got to do one first. And of course, I still like this field, and I'll always be in the tech space no matter what. So, you know,
Mm.
but yeah, that's kind of where I see myself in 5 years. Hopefully, I've exited Reflex Social, and then starting up another one.
Wow, you're just gonna pile up with companies, and you'll be creating, and you'll have so much around it, which is amazing. There's another question from you and Champ. Hey Mike, what are your specific areas of interest in data science field? Interesting.
Data science field. I'm a big machine learning guy, so
Mm.
I like all that stuff. And then also,
Yeah.
I'm getting into also with the military as well, some natural
Mm.
language translation with only monolingual data, which is a lot harder than normal, but definitely was an interesting thing to figure out. And
Yeah.
also image classification, obviously that's a big thing with autonomous cars these days and that kind of stuff. So actually, yeah, I can also show you my
Yeah.
object detection
Sure.
that I built that actually got me most of my followers on LinkedIn today. And so yeah,
Oh.
let me. So yeah, I didn't have a whole lot at the time, and then I said, yeah, I've been working on this thing. Why not post it? And
Yeah, definitely.
it ended up going viral on LinkedIn, and it was
Hmm.
for sure a very very humbling experience. So let me kind of explain everything that's going on here, so you can see this, right?
Yeah, I
All right.
can.
So I have a red shirt on, and I'm getting ready to
Hmm.
show up red cars to the screen, and they're
Wow.
all red cars. So what I did by doing that was I had to trick the AI to, instead of learning the color of the car, to learning
Mm.
the shapes of the car, which is obviously what we are more in tune to needing now. And the red shirt would just something to confuse it. Um, so this is kind of the video I'll play here.
Okay.
There's no audio, but
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I think that's some okay. Good trick.
yeah, pretty fast, and I wanted to make sure that it was very fast and different orientations of
Exactly.
the cars and etc. So hold up two at the same time. So yeah, it was all. I did this just for fun. Really, it was no apparent. It was, yeah, I don't know. It's make object detection today, and it was
Yeah.
just playing around with the Hot Wheels cars. I said, yeah, let's see if we can't, you know,
Very
make it
cool.
actually work. And that was
Mm.
definitely a very, very fun thing to do, and didn't realize the outcome it would give me in the end. And I still
Mm.
play that to today, and still play with it actually, around with object detection and that kind of thing. It really does help us a lot in different areas.
Yeah, definitely. It does. And there was an interesting question, another one from Mahendra. Mahendra Singh Rajput, how do you motivate yourself when your project doesn't work out that the way you want? That is very
Yeah,
interesting.
I think I always kind of remember and really learn that from. I know that I can learn from my failures all the time, and that's kind of where we learn. Is we
Yeah.
make mistakes, we correct the mistakes, and we learn. So everything's a learning experience, whether it works or not. And for example, you always remember the math problems you missed on the test, not the ones you got right. And
Right.
so that's an example of something where this same exact principle, where it's success is only a culmination of all the failures that you've had. And
Yeah.
that's really where I think, so everything is a learning experience, and really motivation. I say, well, I can learn from that and move on.
That is very inspiring. It's just about the learning experience, and you need to, have that going. And definitely, it's not something which is. I'm sure that the projects that you've just made, that you've created for yourself, has not just happened overnight, or is not a success that might have happened just once. It looks very easy, but definitely it is not that easy. When you get into it, it is very complicated to build a robot, or program a robot. And maybe, if you go out and build a car or anything of those sorts, it is very important. And
Sure.
similarly, we had something from Neeraj Satpal. Mike Wimmer, you make all this look like a child's play. Is it really so? So yeah, a little about, people who are watching, the audience who are watching, and the kids who will be watching this. What are your thoughts about the projects that you're doing? How much it takes, and how much, obviously you are a little gifted with super intelligence, that I can say. But at the same time, how do you take up all these things, and how do you feel? It's not child's play. Definitely it's not a kid's play. So what is it? How difficult it is?
You know, I think for me, the difficulty level, I always make it fun for sure. I know it's like, okay, yeah, I want to see the car go. I want to see I want to see the car do this, or I want to see it solve the Rubik's cube. And I always try
Yep.
to see things from different angles too. So I can look up how others do it, and now I say, okay, here's where they failed. Now I'm gonna see where I can learn from their failures and kind of apply it to mine and change it, different angle it, make it out
Mm,
of the box, right? And for
yeah.
sure, that's kind of where difficulty wise, I really don't know difficulty wise, because I always am having fun with it. So there's really nothing.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that's really hard. Yeah, it's really just fun for me. Now whether it's fun for others, I can't speak for others, but I
Yeah.
kind of it's definitely, I always make it fun for sure.
I think it's about, because, as you said, you don't treat it as work. You love to do that, and
Right.
when you love to do some things, it kind of gets you in a place where you are more than failures, more than the project doesn't work, you would want it to, you'll try various things and you will try all the permutations and combinations and you'll make it work, and then you'll enjoy the success, the achievement that you've just
Right.
got, and which is not so easy. From a person like me, if I go through many things, if I fail at times, then I'll be like, okay, I'll obviously calm myself down, but there are breakdowns and all of those things where you start thinking that how does it work. And there was a similar question from a LinkedIn user: how do you do for mental breaks and to re-energize? How does it work? Like, giving yourself that much needed break, that okay, now I've just been into this project for like uh, say 24 hours, I've given it 3 days, 10 days, a month. How do you just come back with full-fledgedly with all the energy?
I think it's I kind of have three modes in my head. It's school, reflect, or reflect slash
Mm,
all my projects. Then it's kid mode, right? And
yeah.
it's sometimes when I'm in kid mode, that's when the solution actually comes to me. So it can also like switching to that kid mode in a sense where I can play with the Hot Wheels cars, build a Lego, or play video games with my
Mm,
friends, etc. It's like when you switch your mind to it, it's almost like it change like as you said, re-energizes it, right? And it clicks for me, and that's kind of
yeah.
where it clicks, and that's kind of the examples of how I really re-energize is switching to the kid mode, and walking
Mm.
away and then coming back.
Yeah, I think it's just about the mental play. You don't let yourself block there. It's just about the work that you'll be thinking the whole day. You need if it's you're in a project, and if you want to stop there, you will make yourself limited there, and then you'll just switch on your kids mode and you'll have your fun. You'll chill with your friends and you'll enjoy, and that's something which is definitely for everyone, not just you as a kid, but I think that is something which is very inspirational, and we should learn from you that okay, there is a point where you need to stop and do something else and
Right.
just enjoy that something else and re-energize yourself, which is fantastic. And okay, there was a question from Chirjot saying, what do you think helps more towards learning, building models or video courses? Okay.
Ooh. You
Hmm.
know, I think my the thing that I've always thought is you can learn best by doing it. So, for example, I wanted to always make a startup. Well, hey, learn to make a startup. Make a startup. So
Like a startup, right?
that's kind of where I have that real world application for things is something where I've learned a lot of what I've learned is from learning getting that real world application, and it helps me to relate to okay, what am I gonna how am I gonna use this? I learned this, but where am I gonna
Mm,
put it in my Rolodex, if you will? Where am I gonna put it in there? And I was like, okay, if I know where the real world situation is, I can understand how that fits. So that's kind of
mm.
where I think actually doing things in real, as he said, building models would help. It's better learn.
Okay. So building models is something which you would prefer, making it more real and making it more practical is something what you believe in, and that's why you just gave a very fantastic example. Obviously, start a startup. What are you waiting for? If that's something what you want to do, start a startup, and that's so true.
Yeah.
Mike, there's a very okay. I'll take Jonathan's questions because it is very difficult question. Mike Wimmer, if you could name a project, what was the most fun and what was the most difficult that you have worked on?
Ooh. Now you're gonna give me the what, name all your projects thing, right? Uh,
Uh,
um, I think what the most difficult was the Rubik's cube solver. Probably back
mm,
when I did that because I had to learn C++ at the same time as actually making it. So it was a different learning experience at the same time of doing something. So that was a very
right.
cool experience. Say, okay, I've usually been the Python guy here. Now I'm gonna go into the C++. Now I'm in a dozen languages now. So it was definitely a very rewarding experience to know that there's some other languages that have their own expertise. And
Yeah.
What was the most fun? Ooh, interesting. Getting any of them to work, really. It's that first time getting to work, like in the other video, was like
Oh yeah.
it's the feeling of accomplishment. It works. You did it. And that was really any of those. If it works, right? Then that's fun.
Yeah, it works. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can only think of how accomplished I would have felt if I would have just created something like a Rubik cube, builder, and I would have been like, "What? Did I just do that?" And I can show it to the world, and that is not something that everyone does in their day-to-day job. And at the age of 12, again, I'm talking about the age, but yes, at the age of 12, I've just done something which is unreal, and which is very cool. And I totally can hear your excitement and thought process when it might have happened. So I can totally feel you, Mike, on that. And yes, there was a question from my end that I wanted to ask, was about definitely about what would be your tips and tricks if people who of your age group would want to get into tech space. What should be the thought process? And like you have mentioned that, okay, you've kept it very departmental, that okay, you'll be doing this work at this hour, and then you'll just switch that off. You'll from Reflex Social, you'll just go on to a mode where you'll want to go with your friends and play and enjoy all of those things. So what are the few tips and tricks that you can give to your age group who want to get into tech
You
space?
know, Yeah, I've gotten this question a lot actually, and I think one of the main things that I always say is, you learn to code and then just stick with it. And I think one of the biggest things now is because we have robots and video games and all this other stuff that we all know that there's code behind it. And when
Right.
you learn Hello World, it's just very boring to them, it really. And so I think if they can find a basic robot that can showcase, I learned to code, but and the robot moves or the robot does this or that, and it makes it fun because you can see that tangible feedback of, I got the robot to do something, and that was kind of the with the same difficulty as Hello World, but it's a whole lot more rewarding experience when it has that tangible feedback.
Mm. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. But when you talk about doing the real thing again, where you're saying that okay, just make it real, and just do something which is just not everyone else would do, which is just create something like Hello World, because that is something everyone is doing. But you're doing something out of the box. You're just taking a robot and you're programming in it, and you are showing it to the world that this is what I've tried playing around my hand in, and that gives a real life example to someone who's out there. So that's there. Okay, before wrapping up, and before we I have a question that I'll pick from audience. Shruti Jain is asking, what are the challenges that you faced when starting a company?
Hmm, starting the company. Hmm,
Mm.
I think the big thing for me in general, and also the company, is credibility at 12, no matter who that is. And again, we're talking about age, but in this case, it's the opposite factor,
Mhm.
and it's finding support for people who are willing to take a chance on a 12-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you want to call it that, I don't really understand it, of course, but that's just me. Um, it's definitely finding support for. It's also people who don't necessarily understand the tech behind it, and that's
Yeah.
something that, what this is big grand thing where you connect all this stuff together. But if you don't understand the fact that there isn't any way to do that previously,
Mm.
that's kind of that's really the challenges I've faced personally. Is credibility is number one.
Hmm. I think that, yeah, definitely that is something, at this age it is, uh, it can be something where people would want to have trust issues, and that can happen easily. That's okay. But when you grow in it, there might be, many eyes towards your business, and they'll be like, okay, we need to invest, we need to make it grow, we need to benefit out of it. And then you become the chooser that, okay, really, you want to invest in it. I'm just waiting when Elon Musk actually decides to invest in your company, Mike, and that's gonna happen. That is for sure. Or maybe you'll be working by with him soon, and that won't be a surprise to all of us, definitely. And there are a few comments for you, Mike. Jonathan says, "Keep up the good work."
Thank you.
LinkedIn user, obviously, continued success to you. You are an inspiration, but remember to enjoy your life, young life too.
Right.
So, which you obviously do, and which you're doing in the right ways. And definitely, that was one of the things that I wanted to touch in today's topic, which is about your life and about what you do and how you, manage everything. And at the same time, you are very sorted in your head. You're very clear about the things that you're doing.
Thank
You
you.
know what's extreme, what's not extreme, and that makes you a superhuman. But Mike, amazing stuff that you're doing. Before we wrap up, I have a question for you, which obviously audience would have to. Where can they find you? Where can they reach out to you if they have certain things they would want to learn from you? What is the best platform they can get in touch with you?
I think people can connect with me on LinkedIn is one of the main
Okay,
ones, and also my
fantastic.
website, nexterainnovations.com. And
Yeah,
my social media links are on my website as well. So you can look at all the videos and everything on the website, and then also on LinkedIn as well.
perfect. I think that's amazing. So nice talking to you, Mike, and I think it was fantastic knowing your journey today. I'm sure we're meeting soon again on the show, and we're discussing more about your projects. It was a pleasure talking to you, and thank you for being on the show. I hope you enjoyed it.
Absolutely, I had a great time, and thank you for having me on it. I look forward to that encore.
Oh yes, definitely, for sure. Okay. So see you guys. Thank you very much. And thank you, Mike. Have a nice day.
You too.